Just waiting on that moment. Waiting on my moment. Waiting on my
And what's up, everybody? This is Conor Mascola for Win or Go Home Podcast, my first podcast on the site, and today's the launch day, and I hope everybody checks out the site. We got a lot of cool things going on between a lot of smart people podcasting, blogging. We got some cool videos and photos to check out. Hope you guys like the logo for the website, and let's get right into it now. Today we're going to be talking about the Yankees and the Mets. Opening day brings new optimism, new hope, and the journey begins for the Yankees and the Mets. Looking a lot different for New York baseball this year, as optimism is at an all-time low in the last 20 years. That can be attributed more to the Yankees than the Mets because of how the Yankees have been known and notorious for their success. The Mets having some success, but mostly disappointment and a lack of optimism headed into their springs, especially as of late, from the Madoff scandal to just the poor talent and product they've been putting on the field. The Yankees have lost a lot of players, a lot of home runs, and have not exactly replaced them with great hitters as a way to shore up what they've lost. Getting right into it, though, with the Mets. The Mets are managed by Terry Collins. I like Terry Collins. I think he's a good manager. He came over from the A's in that Moneyball perspective. He's exactly what Sandy Alderson wants, and I think unless they really fall apart, he'll be around and he'll be a good influence on the players. The team respects him, so I see him being good for them. Moving into the players, you look around the infield, you got Ike Davis, you got David Wright, at your corners, somewhat solid. You hope Ike Davis is a little more consistent this year. Ruben Tejada was a nice surprise for them last year, and Daniel Murphy needs to play better. There's no other way to put it. The outfield is going to be a major concern, it appears. Between Lucas Duda, Baxter, Valdespin, Cal Gill, Neuenhuis, Marlon Byrd, you're going to have an array of lineups in the outfield, you would think. The front runners for the starting positions at this point seem to be Duda, Cal Gill, and Byrd. Byrd is concerning just because he hasn't even been a regular player in major leagues for the past few years, but he is a professional hitter. Cal Gill, provides a spark, but you really don't know what you're going to get out of him so young. And Duda, we've seen him. We know what he can offer if he's full strength, but we don't know if he'll ever put it together. He puts a lot of pressure on himself, and it's going to be a matter of him just putting it in together a consistent season, proving he can be a major league hitter through and through. John Buck leads the pitching staff at catcher coming over. He's a veteran catcher, and he'll provide good leadership for the staff that consists of Jonathan Neese, Matt Harvey, Dylan G, Jeremy Hefner, and hurt temporarily Sean Markham. Sean Markham is going to be a big X factor for this team. He may or may not be the one or two starter, at least to start the season. John Neese will take the ball opening day, and Matt Harvey is obviously the star that everyone wants to see amongst Mets fans. Wheeler is in the minor leagues in the waiting. He'll be coming up shortly, so he'll be a player that everybody looks out for. As far as surprise players on the Mets, I'm going to go with Jordany Valdespin. I think he offers a fiery personality, and I think he's a catalyst. He showed to be a bit of a clutch player last season with some late-game heroics. I expect to see more of that type of play with a little bit more of consistency and another year under his belt. As far as a player to keep an eye on, Travis d'Arnaud. This catcher you got for R.A. Dickey, Mets fans, he's the real deal. He's 24 now, and he's ready to come up to the major leagues. There's a bit of an issue with arbitration, and that's why the Mets are not necessarily putting him on the opening day roster, but 100% expect him to be on the team, hopefully by middle of the season rather than September. He could be the catcher for you guys for the next 10 years, Mets fans. State of the team, I'd say the state of the team is moving in a positive direction. For 2013, don't expect a lot. I'm thinking close to about 72, 73 wins for the Mets. Over-under, I believe, for the team is 70. I'm going to go over 70, but not by a lot. I believe it being like a 72-win season. This is going to be a struggle. The Mets play in a tough division. The Nationals look very strong. The Braves look like they've re-upped a little bit. And the Phillies are, you're not really sure what you're going to get out of the Phillies, but I'm sure they're going to be better than the Mets. Marlins, who knows? They look like they're going to be a disaster after their fire sale to the Blue Jays last year. So I don't see them making the playoffs or anything like that, or even really competing for a playoff spot, but I think they'll be a good competitive club. Maybe the offensive players will benefit a little bit from the moving in of the fences at certain areas in Citi Field. So look for the Mets to, start moving in a positive direction. The reason for optimism in the Mets comes for the future. Look at their young talent. Look at David Wright, who they locked up to a big superstar contract. He'll be around leading the way for the Mets for the next foreseeable future. So look at players to succeed rather than don't judge the Mets this year simply by wins and losses, because that's not what it's going to be about. All right, moving over to the Yankees now. The Yankees are an interesting club. They have really done a transformation from last year. The Yankees won the AL East last year, made it to the Final Four of Major Leagues, losing to the Tigers in a rough series where no one seemed to hit at all in the playoffs, but at least they got past the Orioles in that first round. The Yankees, after being second in the majors in runs last year, 8th in batting average, 2nd on base, 1st in slugging, as amazing as that sounds, that's going to be a very difficult performance to duplicate. Matter of fact, don't expect it at all. The Yankees lost many players, many more than most expected, and manager Joe Girardi is going to have his hands full piecing together lineups and an array of new players, trying to find their niche and the chemistry amongst the team to make this work. This patchwork by Girardi includes new players such as Brendan Bosch, Vernon Wells, Ben Francisco, and Lyle Overbay, Kevin Youkilis, to try to shore up what has happened. You also have Travis Hafner, who can play spot first base, but will mostly be a designated hitter for the Yankees. The Yankees decided to let players like Nick Swisher leave, looking at their lack of clutchness. Russell Martin, who was a good player but they felt was asking too much, but also only hit .215, let's not forget that. Now, you look at the Yankees, you'd think when they're healthy they'll be okay, most likely. But that's a big if. Derek Jeter is out, Curtis Granderson is out, Mark Teixeira is out. 3 of your 4 best hitters. Cano is going to have to be a monster the first 2 months of the season to keep this team afloat. You have still a race at catcher. It looks like Chris Stewart is going to take the reins, but Cervelli will be spotting him a lot as well. You look at the pitching staff, this is the strength of the team, and this is what's going to have to be carrying the team, hopefully, if they want to make the playoffs. CC Sabathia is a horse, and you expect him to be just that. Kuroda had a solid season last year, and I believe is an underrated pitcher who doesn't necessarily get his credit that he deserves because he doesn't speak great English, and he's obviously a foreign player. Andy Pettitte, Mr. Consistency, but Pettitte hasn't been healthy now for a full season in a long time. He's going to be a player to keep an eye on. Ivan Nova is looking to have a bounce-back year, and David Phelps right there is going to be starting in the absence of Phil Hughes until he gets back. Hughes is another injury that the Yankees would like to see evaporate. The bullpen looks strong, however. David Robertson is an all-star, former all-star, and he's looking to lead that staff in the 8th inning. Boone Logan, Jabba Chamberlain. We don't know what we're going to get out of Jabba, but we know what he's capable of, and it's nice to see Mo Rivera back at the end of the game for the Yankees. Greatest closer of all time, will be retiring after this season, and what he's done for the Yankees is unfathomable, was never expected, and can never be expected of any closer for the history of baseball ever again. As far as players to keep an eye on, I would say a good player to keep an eye on is Kevin Youkilis and Travis Hafner. Kevin Youkilis was thought to come over more to be a utility type of role, spot A-Rod when he's hurt, or needs a day off, maybe play some first base here and there. Kevin Youkilis is now an integral part of this team, and his play will be very important. If he can play anything like he did towards the end of his Red Sox career, they'll be getting a solid player out of him. Another player I think is important, Travis Hafner. Travis Hafner, with his short porch in right field, could end up loving Yankee Stadium. However, Hafner also has had his injury problems and seems to be past the prime of his career. Maybe that short porch can revitalize him and get him back to his slugging ways that got him to be so popular in Cleveland. As far as keep an eye on, I would say keep an eye on Ivan Nova. We know Ivan Nova is very capable, but had a poor season last year, and there's really no other way to put it. He's had a great spring and looks for a bounce-back year. Keep an eye on Ivan Nova. State of the team and the status of the team. I would say that the Yankees, I believe they're projected around 84.5 wins. I'm going to go over that, and I'll say I would like to believe, obviously I'm a Yankee fan, I'd like to believe that they could win the division, but if I'm being realistic here, I would be very happy if they could just pull out a wild card even. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough because of what the Yankees face with all the players they've lost. But I like the Yankees' speed, and I think that's going to be an important part of the team this year. Eduardo Nunez, Brett Gardner, Ichiro Suzuki, these are players that can get the base paths moving, and I think small ball, as Girardi was accustomed to playing manager and small ball game with the Marlins when he was manager of the year over there, I think he's going to implement that a little more now, and I think he'll be able to do that and translate it through players of that nature. I see the Yankees more around 88, 89 wins and fighting for one of the two playoff spots. The Blue Jays, the Rays look tough. The Orioles, I think, are going to take a step back, but will still be tough. And I think the Red Sox will be competitive, even if they are the worst team in the division. That being said, I do think the Yankees will make the playoffs. That will be my prediction. Team MVPs, Yankees, I'm going to go Robbie Cano. Contract year, I think he's going to put it together. As far as the Mets, David Wright. Not really bold predictions there, but I have nothing else for you with that. This has been Conor Mascola for Winner Go Home Podcast. Enjoy opening day, everybody.